Alright, so I am doing a review of the Jinbao soprano trombone, or slide trumpet if you will. So I recently decided to pick one of these up online. It was about $400 Australian delivered. Obviously a Chinese company. So I think they produce a lot of brass instruments. I've never actually seen, no, that's not true. I've seen one person ever perform on a soprano trombone, and they've always kind of intrigued me. So I love trumpet. I love the way trumpet can cut through. I'm a trombonist originally, so I love the ability of the trumpet to cut through, but I also love the trombones, I guess stylistically. I love the way that the trombone can really kind of play around with bending notes and stuff in a way that it's harder to do, at least harder to do it on trumpet. And I've always wondered why don't you see more people playing soprano trombones? And picking it up and playing it, I suspect it's because for a trombonist, the mouthpiece is very small. It's basically a trumpet mouthpiece. And for a trumpeter, the lack of valves is annoying. It's quite hard to get your head around playing with a slide at first. So it really only suits people who play both, I guess. And those are the people I've seen playing them. So Wycliffe Gordon, there's some great videos of him playing soprano trombone, and he really kind of sings on it. But I've had this for 3 days now, and I am actually really pretty happy with it. The first day, I kind of had that classic buyer's remorse. I was like, what have I bought myself? And my wife had a similar reaction. She did the "you've spent how much on what" kind of thing, and I found it very strange to play. It doesn't have the resistance that a trumpet has because it's completely open. So in a way, it's harder to get sort of high register, at least to start with. I think the technique's slightly different anyway. And obviously, unlike a trumpet, you've got to navigate the slide, which is trickier. Surprisingly, though, I sort of, when I first picked it up, I worried that I would automatically try to go up to 6th position or 7th position and just take the slide off the end, and I haven't done that at all yet. And I quite like not having to go as far out. You can probably hear the slide scraping a little bit. It's not a perfect slide, but it's not too bad. Just using the sort of Yamaha slide oil or slide grease, I'm not sure what it calls itself, but on it with a bit of a water spray, and it's quite good. And I've got a Yamaha 16C4 mouthpiece, so a fairly large trumpet mouthpiece, larger than say like a beginner's trumpet mouthpiece, like a 7C. Just because I've got more trombonist embouchure. So without any further ado, I will give it a bit of a play for you. So you can hear it's kind of got, it's like, as you would expect, a really high trumpet. It's got that sort of, a really high trombone. It's got that sort of character of a trombone where it can really sort of I find to get around the difficulty playing quickly, because you've got a slide rather than the valves of a trumpet. Doodle tonguing works really well. on the soprano trombone. So if you're not familiar with it, it's tonguing using like a doodle 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 kind of sound. So kind of process. So rather than going ta 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 or da 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 da, you go doodle 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 or toodle 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 for triplets. So I use it a lot with triplets on my tenor trombone, but it's even clearer on this. You can probably hear it. That was double tonguing, but well, still getting the slide positions right. That's something I'm finding I overshoot third and fourth positions a lot. So I find myself putting third position out too far and playing really flat, and fourth also probably playing almost a fifth position. So that's something I'm going to have to get my head around more. Getting some bubbling going on there, so I quite like doing that to re-lubricate the slide too. A bit of the old spit valve action. Myself playing this, in gigs, actually getting it out, sort of, especially with sort of funk music, I guess. Like it's got a really kind of funky feel to it. It makes me feel like kind of kind of a bit like Fred Wesley style, but on a smaller scale, I guess, like a little Fred Wesley. Doesn't make any sense at all, but if I work out what I mean by that, I'll try to explain. Otherwise, make of that what you will, I guess. But I would definitely recommend, especially if you are someone who has dabbled in trombone and trumpet and kind of like those two elements, so like the ability of the trumpet to sing out and cut through and play nice and high, but also like the character of trombone, I guess, the sort of personality of a trombone, being able to scoop notes and sort of do that kind of thing. I would definitely recommend picking up a soprano trombone. I'd love to see soprano trombone become more common and more popular, and definitely, especially for a first model like it is for me. This is the first time I've played a soprano trombone. I would definitely recommend the Jinbao, and mine is the Jinbao JBST 1800. As you can see, it's nice and shiny too. I should probably point out a few other things. So tuning, rather than having a tuning slide that pushes up from the top here, it has a little key thing that you loosen here, and then you tune by putting the bell section tighter or further in or further out here, basically. So, and that's not something I've really played around with yet, but I will. Obviously has a water key there with, and I'm dripping water on my knee from the bell. Sort of with a little sort of rubber stopper rather than the old school cork ones you get on a lot of older tenor trombones. But yeah, check them out and comment below. Ask questions about it if you want, or let me know if you've played one of these, what you do like about it, what you don't. If you're in a band that sort of plays any type of music and you do get to play the soprano bone, sop bone, let me know, and I will see if I can have a jam with some friends playing it at some point and post that on here too.